Hello, welcome to our TED Talk class. Today we will speak about teaching children or adults science and art together. It's a pretty long TED Talk about this topic, and I don't think that I got all the idea from it. But we have many people here. Let's ask someone. Any line? Can you explain? Not the whole talk, but something from it. Any line? What you get? What you understand? What it's about? Gerard, can you start, please?
Yes. In this TED Talk, the speaker is talking about several dichotomies. The main one is science and arts. They are thought they are opposite things, but actually they share many things. Arts is related with creativity, whereas science is related with analysis. So the speaker tells us that both things are necessary. In science is necessary also creativity, and in arts is necessary analysis. And at the end, the conclusion is there must be a balance between creativity and analysis.
Mm-hmm. And I read the biography of this author, of the speaker, and it seems like she had some balance. She's a scientist and dancer, and I don't know who else, speaker of TED at the same time. So maybe she found a way to make all together.
Yeah, my example is Leonardo da Vinci. He was good in science and in art, so that could be a good reference.
But don't you think that in his time it was the same? The science and art, it was one thing.
I think they were more interrelated than now at this time. Yeah.
They were simple, I think. They were very smaller and they were together. It's my opinion. So, Vasans, can you add something? Any line, any idea what you talk from TED Talk?
Yes, this speaker studied medicine, and she also interested in dance. And later she added that when you know the abilities of your body, then you can know what do we call the boundaries of your body. So everything you can understand from your internal abilities. So it helped her. So I liked that.
Okay, Jürgen, would you like to add something to the content?
She said if you don't care much where you want to go, where you want to get to, it doesn't matter which way you go.
Mm-hmm. But I believe that it's not her thought. It's a famous quote.
Lewis Carroll.
Who?
Lewis Carroll, the writer of Alice in Wonderland.
Mm-hmm. And do you know the exact phrase, Gerard?
I know. I don't know. I don't have it right now.
Okay.
Sorry, I can look.
I hear it in a way like for sheep who does not know where he's going. It does not matter what wind is.
Well, it's what Vasant said. If you don't know where you want to go, it doesn't matter which way you take. So he said it very correctly. Yeah.
Okay. And hello, Diana. Hello. Yeah, I don't know if you can hear us, but we're speaking about the content, the idea of this TED Talk, and maybe you can add something. What you get from it, what you got from it. Bashaya, have you watched the TED Talk? Our TED Talk? Bashaya?
Yes. Yes.
Please add something.
What did it mean to you? What was the message, Bashaya? What did you understand from it?
Because the video was long, or I just got confused. But what I got from her talking, that most people or separate between science and art. But I think that, but she was saying that they are related, or they are just a complement for each other. But before watching the video, I was also thinking that science and the art are very different things, and and they have many differences. And because arts are about creativity, like what she said, and the science is just about facts and analysis, or these board things. And I find that art is something amusing, or something that very light, or very fun, or very related to creativity and these good things. But most people find that science is something boring, or something not good interested in.
Okay. And it's a good segue, I think. Let's think about that. How we define science and how we define art. What is the difference between them? Can we formalize that? Diana, would you like to try? It's a simple question.
Yeah, it is. It's a really simple question. A couple of, thousands of years people discuss it. So I think that me is the one who can finally define it. Thank you very much, Ivan.
Camera, please.
No, thank you.
You can just clarify the difference, if you don't want to give us definition of the both of them.
What is the difference? I don't know. I don't know what the difference is, what similarities are.
Okay, let's start from our guys, and we will return.
Yeah. Guys want to talk.
Science provides an understanding of the universe. Through science we try to provide an understanding of the universe, whereas arts, it's an understanding of a personal experience.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's defining that's what the speaker said. So I'm keeping.
Okay.
Okay, Vasant, your version?
Yes, art is useful for knowing your inside thing, your inner skills, and science is about the outside of your body. So I think that is the difference.
Mm-hmm. Harder to understand to me. So what means inside of you? Some people paint pictures. Is it art?
Yes, it gives you a pleasure, and you feel the pleasure when you do some art, like dance or painting, singing. So you can feel that. But science is about experimenting something outside of your body. So it can be any external thing. So I think that.
Okay, how about medicine? It's happening inside the body.
So that's
most
where
of the time. Yeah.
What sounds? It's just how we call it, exception, right? Medicine just an exception.
Yeah, no, that's where that talk syncing with that thought. So art versus science merges at that point. Yeah.
Okay, we have a proverb in Russian. I don't know if there's any analog for that. So let me try to translate. So we say that one little exceptions make a general rule even better. So if we have some strong, strict rule, and there is one little small exceptions, it makes the rule better. Any analogies? Well, maybe
That doesn't make any sense, Ivan.
It was just an art, just an expression of the inner something. So let's call it an art, not a science then.
Yes, it doesn't look like science. So,
no.
Bashaya, sorry. We know definition of science and art, right? So what? No, not yet.
We don't know the definition. It's just I don't know. Okay.
Teacher Lee, please help us.
Okay, I don't know if Vasant, did you have a chance to talk earlier? Did you want to say something, Vasant, or no? You had a T up there.
He had a chance.
Yes.
Okay. A way to think of it is art. It's what Vasant was saying, but in different words. Art appeals to our senses. Art gives us something that's pleasing to see, pleasing to hear, pleasing to taste, pleasing to touch. It appeals to our sensory inputs. It makes us feel good, makes us feel happy, makes us feel relaxed. So it's inside your body, kind of. Science appeals to our intelligence, to our intellect, to our thinking about concepts and how things work and why things work and how to make things better. So science deals with the brain, art deals with the feelings or the senses. It may be one way to look at it. For example, my science, I can build a space shuttle. The Russian science, it would be big and ugly and gray. But America, we would incorporate art by making our space shuttle shiny and silver and painted pretty and sleek looking like a sports car. That's art and science together.
But let me be an advocate for that. You know, our art feeling, our art sense just different. You know, we like ugly things.
Yeah.
Well, it must be clean. It must be square. It must be huge. If it's so, I can, you know, I can like it.
Yeah, and art can be subjective, you know. What some paintings are pretty ugly, but they cost so so much, you know. So then, and people just say that you do not understand this art. So probably you don't understand Russian art, actually. Yeah, it takes some time, you know. Right.
Some practice, yes. And
Yeah.
about that part about the feeling, you know, science. For instance, hot water in my room made me feel better than any opera I visited. You know, if it's speaking about feelings, doesn't count. Okay, maybe it's falling. How to joke fell up, fall up. I forgot the word. Okay, it was a question about definition and difference between science and art.
Okay.
Go on, or more comments about that? Jorgen, what do you think about this question?
Which numbers?
Number 3, the same one. The same, about definitions and difference. Can we say exactly that this, I don't know, action is something about science, and this not? Because when speaker told about creativity, I wasn't agree. I think that there are a lot of creativity in science. I think that science is impossible without creativity. Do you agree?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. Okay, let's choose random one. What's our questions? Number 1. Let me read it. Has your country included fine arts teaching as other subjects in basic education? Is it correct usage of fine? I'm sorry.
Yeah, fine arts.
Yes.
It's an expression we use to mean the
Painting, kind of drawing things. Yes. For example,
requiring skill, I guess, requiring great skill, maybe.
Okay. So in my country, in Russia, we had some lessons of drawing, or painting, I don't know, something like that. But it was an elementary school for a few years, and that's all. After that, you can you can teach that on facultative. Is it a word? I don't know. Something
like extracurriculum classes.
But it isn't mandatory for you, for anyone. What about India? What else? We lost him, I think. Diana, what about Ukraine? Do you draw in the school?
Yeah, elementary school, they just paint, draw, and I'm sorry, someone wants me. Okay, and music classes. They also have like these music classes. I'm not sure for how many years, but it's just one class a week, and it is, it is as if it was not mandatory at all. So children are just singing, some listening to some music. It's not serious. So if you want some serious music education, you are doing it in musical schools. There are musical schools,
So it's impossible to get some broad side to the arts in our schools, right?
I don't think it is possible, because it's just, I think it is not enough. They do not teach about painting as such. They just draw. They let children draw. So maybe some teachers just show them like this shade and light kind of thing, but well, I don't see it in Bozhena school, So
I cannot remember that at all. I can remember that I draw some circle and square, and that's all. It was my art education.
How about drawing later at school? Did you have drawing when you draw some how to call that? For example, like cube, and you draw it, and you draw the section of the cube or something like that. Different shapes, different.
I think you're talking about some math subject, right? Something like blueprinting or something like that.
Something like that. Yes. I don't know how to call this subject. Mm-hmm.
Yes, we had that, and it's not an art, in my opinion. It's a very scientific thing.
Okay, but this is something which can be connected. You should have this vision, and you should have some elementary like drawing skills as well. In order to do that properly. Don't you agree?
I can't count that like art, because it has some rules, strict rules. It can be proven. It has some regulation. Everything regulated.
So does art. Do art,
Maybe I don't know what art is.
There are some laws in everything. Without laws and rules, it will be chaos in everything.
Well, but I can believe that you can get some art from Louvre or something else and check it. This is good one and this is bad one. I can believe in that. But you can do that with this geometry drawing.
Why cannot you do that?
Okay. If you can check something, you mean it's I don't know. You can grade.
Okay, you just mean that it does not have like the same value as the painting, but probably for somebody, your blueprinting will be not good enough as the like the scientist guy who is doing the same thing. So okay. Maybe I do not understand what.
Maybe we're talking about different things, but what I used to draw, it was just a department of math. You take in an equation and then you providing some, some drawing, and it can be checked, it can be graded, and you cannot do that in different ways. You can't. There are one right way.
Okay. Okay.
So I think it's a key difference between art and science.
Okay, just only one possible way, right way. In science, there is one correct way. Okay.
On given conditions, we have one correct way, I think.
Okay.
Chart, do you agree?
I think if you fine art, you need some science. Even I think cooking could be deemed to be a fine art. And science, a lot of science is present because our modern cooks, they use a lot of science to do some special dishes, They are aimed to the senses, to feel to taste new things, not to feed us, So it's like it's a lot of science.
I agree.
Yeah.
There was a perfect MOOC. It's a MOOC mean Massive Online Course, if I'm right to pronounce it. There was a perfect MOOC from some university, which called something like molecular cuisine or something like that.
Yes.
I took it and it was fantastic. How they speaking about cooking, about chemistry of cooking, about physics of cooking. It was something very interesting. So what about drawing? What about art in school, Gerard? Have you had something?
Yes. When I was 14, I had a class of drawing. I think also before, but I think that it was aimed to, you know, to be practical drawing, you know, like, you know, architecture, drawings, blueprints, what you told me.
I think it's almost the same what we had.
Practical drawing.
I don't know how to call it. Teacher, help us. How will you call that?
What?
When you draw something, something correct, something like for architecture, for, you know, for machinery, some blueprinting, something like this. What would you call that? These lessons?
Well, usually the class we call mechanical drawing. Usually, I took mechanical drawing in high school, and it's how to draw architecture, how to draw things to scale.
So it must be in good how it's called, isometry. Is it a word?
Geometry, isometrics. Yeah. You can draw something in 2 dimensions or 3 dimensions.
Right. It's what I had. I never, you know, painted a sun with clouds or something like that. Only blocks, only buildings, something.
Yeah, or maybe you call it technical drawing, maybe. Yeah.
Mechanical or technical? Okay. Vasans, what about you? In your school?
I had drawing in my childhood and my school days, but these days education falls into private people. I mean, it becomes business. So government do not gives us the free education anymore. It becomes business. So private people took over the education, and they have to provide a lot of fine arts in order to project themselves as a different syllabus, having different syllabus, so to attract the people. So they mostly these days prefer for martial arts and drawing, dance, and many things. But the problem is the teachers are not that much qualified, because they think that it's just for children, so we can it's enough to teach the basics. So the teachers are half learned, and the children becomes less than that.
I understand. So don't you have some, you know, common standard in India? What should be taught? What should not be? Like something like some like I can't explain it. So can your schools choose subjects by themselves without any standards? Okay, let me rephrase it. You know, in Russia, we don't have too much freedom in schools. We have some common plan for the whole country. The schools can provide extra activities, but this plan could have to be, how to say it, teaching have to be, I forgot the word for that, have to be provided maybe.
Yeah, we have mandatory, you must take it, and elective or optional or voluntary, you can choose to take it. So in my high school, most courses were mandatory. We only had a couple of choices where we had 2 choices. We could do algebra or general arithmetic. We didn't have many choices. Yeah.
But it was the same in my university, and it was a funny thing. We have a few voluntary subjects, but you have to finish a course with exact number of that. For instance, there are 4 free courses, but you have to choose 3 of them. I would not call that, you know, free enough. Because you can skip only one.
Yeah.
Bashaya, what about drawing in your school? Painting or something, some art classes?
Again, this event, the question?
Do you have some art classes in your school as mandatory classes?
Yes, since joining the primary school, we had yes, obligatory or mandatory subjects like music and drawing, but these subjects were not calculated in the general grades. So we have tests and these matters at the end of the semester or at the end of the year, but these subjects were not calculated because I think also it's fair to be not calculated, because you might find some students good talented in these subjects and some are not, so it will not be fair to calculate them and to add them to the general grades. And but I didn't like painting or music. But when I got more older, I like piano, but I didn't take much time to just to learn how to play this instrument. But till now, I want to learn how to play piano because I like this instrument.
Good. And you made interesting point about talent in these subjects and grading it, because I hear that some people whining about math. We don't have talent in math or physics. Why it should be mandatory for us and the same? And I'm trying to think about it. And if I imagine that some music education will be mandatory in my school, it will be a nightmare for me. I cannot imagine me singing for the grade. It looks strange. So maybe the speaker of TED Talk is right, that we totally lost our art education. We have only one part of it. So let's rephrase it in this way. Should be. What do you think? Should be these subjects provided more in our schools? Should we improve the art education in our schools? Diana, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it should be improved. It should be given in a different way, you know. I would love to have some deeper knowledge on arts in general, you know, on the development of arts, on different trends in art, not only in music, you know, but in fine arts, yeah, like paintings and all this stuff. I think that a well-educated person should know all this, but our schools do not talk about this. And yeah, as Bashar said, they also, sometimes it is very interesting when my daughter brings home grades for her pictures, you know, and sometimes it is like we have 12, the highest grade is 12. So sometimes she brings 11, sometimes she brings 8. And I don't quite see the difference, you know, in the result of her work. Why this one is 8 and this one is 11, or why this one is 6. I'm not sure.
But we know the answer. We know the answer. It's because of lack of your education, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Or maybe because teacher today is hungry or something, and she's, you know, given this grade because she is not in a bad mood, you know, today, and the next day she's feeling better, and that's why she got 11 or something.
Well, it's perfect point again. In case of math, in case of physics, we can, you know, just change a teacher and retake exam, and we'll see the truth about knowledge. What to do? What to do in case of art?
Yes. So it should be changed. It shouldn't be, you know, like the standard type of thing. Probably no grades are necessary during during that. Or maybe you can grade a student when you check his knowledge on some facts about the history of art, so something like that. But how can you grade the work? You know,
Yes,
when the child sees the black square, right? The famous painting, which costs like lots of money, and he says, "Okay, I can do the same. I can paint the same." But how can I explain to my daughter that her painting won't cost that much as, you know, that guy? She says, "I can do better. You know, I can draw red square."
Okay, let's don't forget about black square and red on back. But let's ask for Sans. What do you think, Sans, about this question?
Yes, because in India we have at least at their 10th grade, every subject is mandatory. They have to study. All those subjects are academical. So they can only choose their elective subject at their 11th and 12th grade. And even it's also what do we call it? It's an academic subject. So after that, they can choose whatever they want in their graduation. So my point is, why does it take that at least it's 12 years, I think. Okay, 12 years it takes. So it's a waste of time, I think. Can't we just include fine arts at the beginning of their lives, at the beginning of their education, so that we can find what they are capable of, so what they are interested in. We can find it out. But this education system is, I think it's a little bit flawed, I think.
Mm-hmm. And speaking about this black square made by Malevich, if I'm right, are you familiar with it? Do you know what is that black square by Malevich? Maybe it's a Russian thing, Diana, because I think that people don't understand. So it's a very famous picture. It's just a black square, made by famous how we call them, artist who made just a black square, and it was sold by. I forgot the number, but it was fantastic amount of money, and now it's somewhere in gallery, and it's an interesting thing, interesting cultural thing to discuss about. And many people think, how can it be that some black square can be an subject of art, if any child can do the same? But I saw the same. But then I read an article about it, and actually, this artist Malevich did not use the black square. The black paint. She made some. She made some illusion. She drew this square without black paint, but it looks black. So it's a kind of illusions or something like that. Please check me on the Wikipedia on somehow, because I can mess things. But it what was they heard? Am I right, Diana, or not? Diana, am I right about this Malevich thing?
Well, yeah, basically you're right. So I'm not familiar with the details. I should check it as well. So I will, and I'll tell you whether you're right or not.
Okay. I was, just I wanted to some proof. Okay, so we answered that, right? Jürgen, what about you?
Initially, the black square was not intended to have any symbolic meaning. Its purpose was to solve artistic problems.
Mm-hmm. What kind of problems?
It doesn't say.
Okay. Okay, and we have a link.
Problem of poverty of an artist, It was just for that.
And it was solved efficiently, right?
Yes, it was.
Okay. Let me find another question. Okay, let's choose this one. Number 4. Vasan's question. In your childhood, what was the parents and teacher reaction when somebody choose arts instead of academic? Has that culture changed? Well, in my case, the answer is simple. You know, we don't count artists like human. Still. So if someone go to the ballet, we go, okay, it happens. Maybe you will have another child, so it's not a problem. Something like that. And I don't think that it changed much now. What can I say about our culture?
Maybe you're talking just about your town, you know, your surrounding. Maybe in bigger places it is a little bit different.
Actually, I think in many other districts it's even worse. But I can imagine that in some, you know, one town like St. Petersburg, the cultural capital of Russia, it can be different. But I don't think it can be different in everything else, anything else. Maybe I biased. How to call it? Maybe
biased. Yes.
Maybe I biased.
Yes, you are.
So you have another impression, right?
Yeah, you know, there is a TV program here. Actually, it is not a Ukrainian project. It was, as usual, it was bought from the American. So You Think You Can Dance. I think that is how this program called in America. So, and I can see a lot of Russian dancers, male and female, who come here and take part in this project here in Ukraine. So I can see how it is developing and how developed the dancing of different styles is in Russia now and in Ukraine as well. So I think it is getting better. So a lot of people can learn how to dance, not at school. They have like extra, you know, curriculum activities. So they are going to special studios, to different dance schools, dance clubs, and they are learning how to dance over there. So it is better. So I'm not sure about drawing, but there are some schools, yeah, drawing schools where kids can do that. So I think that now there is a possibility as well, though it is all it is kind of expensive, yeah, expensive hobby. So you should have some money to do that.
Well, I agree, and it's time consuming, right? And it's
yes, absolutely.
It's very little chance for, I don't know, for be successful, be
yeah, but you're studying mathematics at school for 12 years. What is your chance of being a successful mathematician in future? What is your chance to become a next Einstein, or I don't know, to be the well-known physician, or what is your chance? And you're spending all your childhood studying that. You know?
I partially agree. Your chances for Nobel Prize, it's about zero. Yeah. About zero. But your chances to be, you know, successful engineer, it will be done. It will be done without any doubt.
Yeah, but actually, if you are, you know, if you feel that you are talented in something else, in being a dancer, your chances to become a rich dancer is probably, you know, even bigger than being a rich engineer. I'm sorry, but engineers are not very rich, you know, in your country, in my country, and in America as well.
Okay. I can compare that, you know, to artists.
You can ask Peter Lee.
So, Jan, how it's in your place, in your mind?
You know, yes, it's more important. Science is more practical, so it's supposed that you can make sure money, you know, and to make money, a lot of money with fine arts, you need to be very good. It's like an ideal thing, you know, but some people follow this idea and you know, they succeed.
You know, like you reminded me of a joke. So every single day I'm waiting when I will need these geometry theories at last, you know, and this day can never come, you know, for me in my life. I will never need geometry theories, which I had to study at school. I had to, you know, and I couldn't understand them. It was a nightmare for me.
Understand. And I can compare that. It's something like if someone would teaching me singing, you know.
Sure, yeah, exactly. Yes. I would love to spend more time drawing, for example, or playing the musical instrument instead of, you know, geometry. Yeah, I understand that there should be some basic skills taught to everyone, you know, known by everyone. But why do I need to spend so much time learning chemistry or, you know, learning all those physics, which I didn't understand at school, you know, like, okay, some chemistry, actually, organic chemistry, I really enjoyed, you know, but later on, organic chemistry took 1 year, and then it was nightmare. It was not interesting for me at all. And I had to pass an exam, you know, I had to take an exam. So I don't know.
Well, in the same time, I can feel your pain and understand it.
Yes.
But in the same time, I think that it's the only way to drive the science in country, you know, because to have a good football team, soccer team, you have to get a playground in each neighborhood. The same in science. To get a few scientists, a few Nobel, how we call it, laureates, I don't know. We have to teach a lot of people chemistry, math, and so on. So,
don't you think that if someone is really good in chemistry, in mathematics, in physics, he would sit still and never show his skills or something like that? You know?
No, but in the same time, I don't think. I think that it's not the time when one people can decide something in science. You know, we need universities. We need a lot of specialists for that.
Sure, I understand
infrastructure and so on.
Yes,
so the time of one person, it's gone. It's science Da Vinci. You know. Now we call some people more important or less important, but in general, it's a team game.
Yes, I understand that, but I'm not talking about this. I'm telling you that, yes, we need a huge team of scientists. I don't understand why I should be suffering from you wanting to have a big, you know, team of scientists.
And I think I can answer that, because society in general thinks that better one girl will suffer too much, a little bit, but society in general will benefits more if we, you know, taught more people, more children.
Yeah. So, and we come to the thing that society, it is not fair, you know, to think this way.
It's never fair.
You do not give the equal opportunities to all subjects, to all fields of development. So you sacrifice one because you need the other one more, or you think you need the other one more. I don't agree with that.
It's our way, you know. We always sacrifice people to get some goal done. But,
yes, absolutely.
Another way, look on America, you know. Another way when people can count after university. Because they have elected courses, they can decide, do they need math or not. So it's
they
different.
There is no there is no such thing as these elective subjects are still, they have elective subjects, but there are still the limited choice. You can select from 3 of them. Okay, that's a huge choice, you know, and you do not have all the variety.
You can see on Google, you know, many videos about what Americans know about, I don't know, world, math, geography, biography, or biology, or something else. And you will find that, you know, that elective courses may be not the best thing in the world.
Okay.
It's my point. I know it's controversial. But at least we can choose now, you know. We can choose one country with education. And, you know, Russian education is nothing compared to China's education. They don't care for freedom at all. You will study math, you will study nuclear physics, and you will get the result.
What kind of result we're having? What kind of result? What are we having now? So are we living in the wonderful world without no problems? We have so many mathematicians around the world and physicians and
it's
biologists.
It's a perfect segue to the TED Talks question. And that lady said, to make our world, to change our world, we have to make a basement now. And China do this basement just now to make this perfect world 15 years later.
Okay. Okay. So probably I won't be here to see the perfect world.
Gerard, please.
That reminds me, you know, the classes with Hollywood, with the Giver book, you know, the society where everybody, they had no feelings, you know, everybody did what they had to do. It's like in China, you know, the China, they are taught by the government what they have to do, but what's that? They don't have freedom of choice. And what's, I don't know, I think life needs this freedom, and we need fine arts to develop that. Not only science, okay, it's good, science is good, but it's not, you know, mankind is not only science.
Well, and I exactly understand what Diana talking about. Is talking about because for some people really feel it like a sacrificing, like to be a victim of this educational system just because they don't understand this mess. And I can see, I could see that in my class as well, when people suffer of it, suffer of low grades on math and many jokes about them and so on. I understand, but I think it will not be changed, you know, soon. And that's why I think it's good that we have different countries, you know, you can move somewhere in the another educational standards or something like that.
Yeah, the problem is that they're almost the same everywhere. You know, mathematics, so the sciences are very important and arts are minor. Everywhere.
Okay, you know, let me provide another example. As I know, as I heard, there are a lot of universities, you know, who teach some subjects like woman science, or how they call it, woman arts or something like that. And people pay for
be very careful here. Political correctness are somewhere not here anymore. Women science, wow, that's an interesting one. What do they teach?
I don't know, but I can provide you a link. And actually, I provided many, you know, in our chat. When I got invitation for some MOOC, massive online course, to teach courses like, you know, for ridiculous $100, they can teach me how to respect women. You know, it's very simple. Okay. Yes, and
yes, you should take it. Probably you'll benefit from it somehow.
Yes, and there are universities about that, and yes, and probably there are reasons why people in the whole world teach their children to math, not the dancing. You know, there are reasons. Teacher Lee, please.
The main difference is science is necessary for survival. If you're going to stay ahead of the other countries, have better defenses, better military, better weapons to prevent other countries from coming in and taking you over, science is a survival knowledge. Art is not survival. We can live without art. We can't live without science. Once you have a secure country, your science has given you safety and security, then you have the luxury to do art and to enjoy relaxing things. So art and science, we emphasize science because it's more necessary for survival and competition in the world. Once that's not your desire anymore, or you feel safe and secure, then you can go into art and draw and paint and sculpture and do these, I would call them unnecessary or luxury type activities. And that's why we generally emphasize science. We want our citizens to be able to do things that can contribute to our survival, not to our looking pretty.
I agree. I agree. I prefer to have engineers in my country who provides me hot water better than I prefer. I would prefer, you know, many operas in my town. So.
Okay, guys, I'm not talking about not having engineers. That's not what I was talking about. I'm talking about differences between people. You know, we're all different, and now they're talking about freedom to everyone. So everyone deserves to be heard, yeah, to be understood, something like that. And then at the same time, we're taking those different kids to the same class, and we're teaching them the same things in the same way, you know, and that's what is not okay. I'm not against science or something like that. And don't get me wrong, I've got those 5s, you know, at school in all those subjects, you know, and I passed all of them with excellent marks. And I got that medal at the end of that school because I wanted that so much, you know, I was an A student. But now I feel that I wasted my time at school, you know, I wasted a lot of efforts, a lot of my resources for things that I didn't enjoy, didn't need in future, you know? That's what I'm talking about.
Okay, Gerard?
There must be a balance between fine arts and scientists. I recognize, I admit that we need more scientists, but I think fine arts are also important. And besides, most people are not in those groups. More people are like pawns, you know, they manpower. They are not scientists and artists either. None of them. So that's what they are also important. Most people work, have a simple job, and they are necessary to do the basic work, basic jobs, you know.
So let me read the question again. Let me find it. In your childhood, what was the parent and teacher's reaction when somebody choose arts instead of academic? And I think it's pretty clear question. You know, if my boy comes to me and says, I don't want to learn math anymore, I be a ballet dancer because I feel like I'm a dancer, a huge one. And what would I answer? Diana, what do you think? What should I answer?
What would or what should you answer?
Boss.
I can imagine what you would answer. So, oh boy. Okay. Yeah. Well, of course, every parent wants their children to be, you know, successful in life. And I realize that being a ballet dancer, probably in your circumstances, is not the best way for your child. And I believe that as a parent, as a good parent, you will highlight, you will make it perfectly clear for your boy that you're not happy with the choice. But I also think that each parent should also think about happiness of the children, you know. And if you impose, is it impose? Is it correct way to say it? If you impose your will upon your child, will it make him happy? Will he? Probably he will come later, you know, when he's 40, and he will tell you, Dad, you was wrong, and I blame you for what you told me that, you know, because I would be Baryshnikov, you know, or, you know, it could be.
Someone good. I agree. It's possible. There is chance of that, and it's not so low, maybe, because, you know, if you're talking about chance to be blamed by children, it's 100%. So no, not a problem.
No. And I have an example, actually. My husband used to blame his parents because he wanted to be an actor, and they wanted him to be a military man. So he became a military man because his mom was throwing fits day and night because she didn't let him to do what he really wanted to do. And he was unhappy all his life. And it wasn't pretty, you know, it wasn't good.
Sure.
I think parents should give their children an opportunity to find out whether they have qualities, they have talent to do these sort of you know, jobs. Also, many children want to be like a soccer player, and we think, okay, it's very difficult, but some of them succeed. So we have soccer players because some parents allow their children to work on that. So giving them a chance, it's important. And
yeah.
Vasants, please.
Yes. In my country, the opinion doesn't change since from the independence. People always force their children to follow the academic, not the fine arts. But some exception has been happened in the history, and they were successful. But I believe there are some similarities between those people. Either their parents must have been experienced, must have been through such a situation in their childhood, because they were probably prohibited from the fine arts, and they were forced to the academic, or their teacher must have been prohibited from the fine arts and forced to the academic thing. So so they were frustrated, and they were frustrated about they could not do what they wanted to do in their childhood. So they inspires the children to do some fine arts activities, and it happens, and it worked. We have a lot of world champions, lady world champion, boxing world champion, and world chess champion. So we have some exceptions that happened.
Well, we just have a surprisingly vivid conversation about this topic, and I can see many opportunities to continue. I would like to speak more about, happy actors in mass and happy belly dancer, and as a ways for parents to give a chance for their children. And I will try to find some TED talk as continuation for them. I cannot promise, but I will try. But now we got over our time, so we have to end this. And thank you very much for that conversation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye, and see you tomorrow.
Yes. See you guys. Bye.